too.
Yeah, where's she?
That's
She
funny.
was
I had
here.
one yesterday too.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I should.
Did she throw up too?
No, but Emma did.
Or the.
Nice.
Emma got food poisoning last
Logan
night.
is sick and Zoe's sick. I should
Yeah.
ask my dad.
Yeah, Logan got food poisoning and Emma had food poisoning last night. I got to clean all of her dinner off my walls.
Yeah.
She
I
ran
feel
all the way
this.
into the master bedroom while the baby was sleeping to let us know that she had a puke. And then continued to our master bathroom to do the puking. But she started puking in my room.
That's good.
And I have all my clothes on like an IKEA set of shelves, all my like folded t-shirts, like from floor to ceiling. Just t-shirts. Like 2 stacks deep. And she puked like diagonal, so it went behind the shelf.
What? What?
It went behind the shelf. So I had like puke on my clothes. I had to like go through and find what was clean, what was not clean. And then I had to try and clean a wall
That was one thing.
down to the carpet. Yes.
Okay.
She's not tall enough for the blues. She got the pants and shorts that are very loud. But like, yeah, so I had to actually like pull a shelf leg out so I could clean between the wall and the shelf leg. And as I did that, the top shelf dumped a stack of shirts into a pile of 2 ones that I had not yet cleaned. It was just like, this is the best night ever. It's the night of my life.
No.
Probably the best time I've ever had.
I had a huge migraine and I hopped on my bed. I was gonna let the dog out because the barking wasn't.
That's a totally migraine.
So I was gonna let the dog out. I'm gonna throw up. So I just walked towards the sink and started puking.
I'm a throw.
I clogged it. I just did the
garbage disposal.
The garbage
Nice.
disposal. It just keeps some more.
And you know what? Honestly, everything that comes out of the garbage disposal looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emily's always had this problem in her past. It usually hits when she's pregnant. It doesn't usually hit when she's not pregnant. But she'll puke from a migraine, and then she's nauseous even though she's puked. And so she can't like get things to stay down, including medicine that might help on migraine.
Well, because also the thing is, when you're nauseous, it makes you nauseous when you take medicine on an empty stomach. But
Yes.
you're nauseous and you don't want to eat.
Exactly.
But you want to take
So
medicine
this downward
so you don't
spiral
feel that.
starts to occur where she can't get rid of the migraine and she can't keep anything down. And so if you keep hydrating without keeping anything down, you'll dehydrate. Like if you just drink water and you don't have any electrolytes
it's
in
the
you,
worst
you'll just
cycle.
dehydrate more. And dehydration brings on more migraines and makes your migraine hurt.
Yeah.
And
I
so
just
like
drank
almost
water.
every pregnancy, at least one time, she ends up in the hospital to just get an IV of fluids. That's it. She just gets the IV of
Oh my
fluids.
God.
And then she's fine. Like everything
Well,
goes back
my
up,
mom
the
has
spiral
that.
ends, and then like we're good. Everything's alright. She doesn't need any medicine, she doesn't need drugs, like just give me the saline, solution and like we're solid now.
You should have called my dad.
I know. There's so many people who can just like bring over a bag of saline and like stick it in her arm, but like that's all she ever needs and then she's fine. But it hasn't really ever happened when she was not pregnant. There's like some difference about how nauseous she gets when pregnant.
Well, when you're pregnant, you already feel it.
Yeah. Depends on what
How do
stage
you
you're in.
know,
Yeah.
Alan?
Well, Kelly, I know other
You've been
people.
pregnant before?
That's not the point. That's not the point. It's like it's like saying, what? You know a girl?
I didn't get
Yes.
involved in anything.
Did you see my baby?
May have to give me details.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My mini dachshund.
Baby oxen?
Mini dachshund.
You have a dachshund? No, I
A
did
mini
not.
dachshund.
Did not see your baby.
Yeah. My dad was holding it outside.
Oh, your dad had it here?
Yeah.
Daddy's home.
Nice.
Yes.
Daddy!
I'm here.
How are you? My boy. I feel a little ripped off that you go to the circus so much now because it's like your last year anyways.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I like to you.
I it's not cool.
You have the same
It's not
cologne
cool.
as Alex.
I wasn't ready to say goodbye,
Yeah.
okay? I was planning on a goodbye at graduation and this is like
I'll say your.
Do we get to get by graduation?
say again?
We get by
No.
graduation?
Yeah,
Like
so the
finally.
graduation this year, I'm so bad at announcing things. I'm so sorry, guys. So 8th graders, spread the word. There's a dual graduation for you. There's a dual, like double. You get a double graduation. So your first graduation is this Friday, and it is that you are invited to stay with the high school after
Oh, my.
after topic night.
Darn it! I'm going to a baseball game.
That is, I know,
Yeah.
not something that all
Wait,
parents will
why
say yes to.
after topics?
I'm not staying.
Because
That's what you get for going to 3 churches.
wait.
So, that's graduation
Girls.
number 1, is you get to hang out with
Girls drive
all high schoolers all night. Graduation number 2 is
Is
we're
it all-nighter?
Yeah, that's all night.
I had
Next Friday?
like, they all had-
But it's co-ed, so there's no sleeping allowed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want
okay.
those so bad.
How does that work?
I want to put melatonin.
Yeah, that's like the difference between an overnighter and an all-nighter. It's an all-nighter.
Wait,
I
when's
had
the
a bad
all-nighter?
experience last time, so I'm not.
I had a bad experience.
You know, I just need to bring a monster. Just bring a few monsters.
Monsters are just knockoff Red Bulls that are bigger and cheaper.
I
And
might
sugar.
yell at people, but I
Red
would.
Yeah.
Bulls just don't have as much sugar.
I prefer rock stars.
Honestly, if you're gonna go Red Bull, you go sugar Red Bull. Like no sweetener.
If I go Red Bull, I go Red Bulls. That's the only time I
You're a
drink energy
rebel.
drinks.
That's what it is. You're
Yeah,
a rebel.
Have you
I
ever
only
gotten
drink
those like
bubbles. That's
Red
the
Bull
only time I
guzzlers
Have you
at the
tried the
bowling
Boba?
alley?
They
Guzzlers?
don't have the
Guzzler.
Ola anymore.
So,
I
it's
was
like
gone.
It's
they
gone
kinda
now.
How
do
did-
it like a not,
why?
they do their own
It's
not
good
all
because it was
alcoholic
only for, like,
version
April
of.
It was limited.
Instead of
It's just
having
some more
alcohol,
cool,
they
but
do.
it's like.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty good. I like it.
And then takes them away. And then, oh, just kidding, they're back. And then, no.
Okay, so second graduation is the final Friday in May. We're gonna barbecue for you guys. Instead of just like pizza or mac and cheese, we're just barbecue.
So wait, the all nighters next week.
Yeah, this Friday.
This week.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
This
No,
coming Friday,
no.
I have to
17,
do-
Before they-
17, right?
I don't know if you can myself that.
8th and up. So it's 8th plus high school. And then the high schools are hosting.
Man, I
How many Walker Scobell lovers are here that?
I have two currently that I'm wearing, and then I have to take off one. So I'm here crazy
It's like, I mean, I could tell the looks, like the looks are fine, but like the voice, it's like.
Today?
His
Maybe
voice
the leader
is.
I don't want to be the only leader in the room to be like unavailable. Okay. But I mean, you can put it without me. But I won't play unless someone else comes.
Abby
Oh, you know what though? But Zoe and Logan are both sick. So it would be until Emily gets here. When Emily gets here, then I would
I'd be fine going by myself.
probably because she just has a cold, whereas Logan has food poisoning. Yeah.
I love how everyone
You missed
now
all-
is
Did you
saying
miss the
walk,
puke
walk,
stories? Or
walk
did you
out.
walk in when I was telling the puke stories?
Can't.
Oh yeah. So Emma got food poisoning last night. That's what started the pregnancy talk. Was migraines and puking.
Yeah, because I also had it my parents puke last night.
Yeah. So Logan was puking, Emma was puking, Helen was puking.
I was watching the Northern Lights at 2 a.m.
Bro,
They
I
were
wanted
not
to
very
see them
cool.
again. I
They
wanted
just
Wait.
looked like smudges.
Wait, last night?
Yeah.
The
Wait,
prime time
wait,
was from
wait,
like
wait,
1
wait,
a.m. to like 4.
Wait,
Yeah.
last night?
Yeah, they were.
What? It was just supposed to be show.
So there was the May Day parade in Durham, and then they were around like 9. What?
Okay.
All the Wi-Fi went off because of the
And
solar
then-
flares.
I know.
Remember the
That's
lights were off.
why? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
it was running through like YouTube and it didn't pull up, and then I had to like.
I woke up at
There was
10.
solar.
The solar flares.
That's how
from the
northern lights
lights.
happen.
They come from the solar flare?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of
That's why all the
big
Wi-Fi
solar
off.
flares.
My Wi-Fi's not out.
What?
Might be irritated.
Yeah.
Hi, Lila.
Actually, the answer for you on
It was annoying because I had to sleep over like the day that it was actually happening. We're like, oh, the solar flare is cool. We're gonna go outside.
We went outside.
I got lost.
got
I got lost in my neighborhood. Yeah.
Do you usually use Google Maps to get home?
I don't have Google Maps. My stupid parents will let me have like any app to
No. I just am wondering how you got lost in your neighborhood.
Okay, just be the first time.
Yeah.
I live on like the far side of Cal Park, and I live on the entrance of Cal Park.
Oh, so like all of California Park is what you're calling your neighborhood? That's a pretty good neighborhood. Okay.
Anyways, so in the morning, my friend Anya Ubered me, like moved my nose to get me looked up, and he's like, no, walk, and I was like, sure. And I'm really bored. And so we went on a walk, and
Whoa. Sorry guys. One redhead over there.
I know. I just was thinking.
That is the rule.
I'm wearing a hat, so it doesn't really count. Anyway,
I was like, whoa, there's 2 redheads today.
we went on a walk to those like lake ponds things.
Yeah.
And then we went back to like where the mom was breakfast, and so we went back. And then I was like, I just met Eddie to get back to the side. Alright, we're staying right now.
I know the redheads are
I
awesome.
was like, sure, whatever. Cal Park's not that far.
Wait, was it me or Dean? Okay. Because he was helping me one day.
Yesterday.
Okay.
He came up and did my solar. Back when we built the house. And then I needed a dump trailer.
I was 5 minutes away.
Clear my final check.
Well, my counselor
I
told me.
asked him, he was like, I've got family.
Why?
This one?
No one else was there too. And he like,
This was mine.
My babies.
Yeah, let's show Daniel the birthday.
Wait.
me first.
Daniel.
Yeah, you can have her.
Daniel, this is the difference
That's what love looks like.
It's way different.
What? Yeah.
You decided to take a separate route.
I can't remember else we're going. Like a walk, so I was like, get lost, like, and so I turned the left into two cool stuff. First is from that to like, around the nursery, but left from I didn't see you're going all the way across, like to the end. I heard it in the I knew it 70. Where's Elliot? I've been grinding that game for so long. I like all the way up until I found like a low ground.
Did you find the door?
No.
This was my door.
Probably the windows I
would have said it too.
I got the windows and I love my friends. I mixed that with it and I mixed that and stuff. And I got those 20. I mixed out myself and
Bro, so
because last year
that,
there was
that,
no
bro.
kids that come up.
Bro, young JoJo C wants.
Well, Victoria, all those kids were the kids that were learning early in 6th.
Okay, just go.
So these kids have been to technically
Get out of my face.
Yeah.
because
Okay, I don't think I'm gonna give you my number anymore.
so they're like halfway.
I'm $450 in debt right now.
Why is there so much over?
I know Darren's getting like 11 kids.
That's fine.
Are you gonna be the kids also?
Wait.
Yeah, she's partaking.
And he's in Maya's class. I'm
What happened to Aiden? I did like exercise for me.
Oh, you're laughing.
They sing it too. I heard. Yeah, but like my brother.
Is Elliot coming? I texted her like. I texted her like one of those type of things.
Nothing where like you can tell it was Dada and she was trying to get Dada's attention.
No, but she did say, yeah, so, you know.
There's
It's
been
like
times
the
where she's
same.
crying and she makes a sound.
She did
repeatedly,
learn how to
but it's not like
play the
super
doorstop
clear.
this morning.
And it sounds like and like
It's
that's
Emma,
the
she's
closest
asking
thing.
for her
It's the
sister.
closest thing we've seen to a word yet. She said it like 4
No,
times in a
because
row.
you keep missing when she says dad.
Well, yeah, but is she calling her? Or is she just like
No, I
making
don't think
sounds?
it's.
I think she's.
Because if you don't attach meaning to the sound, I don't think it counts as a word. You just saying sounds doesn't count.
She found the doorstop this morning, babe.
Oh no.
Yeah. But then she pulled on it and hit herself in the head and was like, yeah. It was pretty funny. She like stopped and was like, what just happened?
Literally, I was like, oh,
Yay.
photos.
I know, I realized that
Okay,
after, I'm like, oh,
that's only my
wait,
wife.
she can get photos. Wait, why don't you just take photos?
And you are? Take your photos?
Yeah, take photos of
I now know of your photos. Yep.
the photos, because we've done it.
Where do you go to school, Ruby?
I got it.
North. Is anyone else here?
I've too many photos of children.
You almost
I
went to
got
North?
accepted and then I was like, never mind.
You
wanna go to Nord? I almost went to Nord in 7th grade. I was like, I almost went to Digital this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in this year. I
How
wanted
many
to stay with my
almost
friends
did
but
you
it was
have?
like,
I think has all the elements.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, actually,
I know I'm not
you know a bunch of people.
do you want all of them?
Why is it too close?
I didn't know what which one you liked.
Why do you say that so
The ones on my
much?
desk are expiring right here.
I have
Abby,
different.
Abby, why do you say that so much?
Wait.
Yeah, sorry.
Five, 3,
Yeah, let's do it.
I have a lot of it.
Nope, I want the other game.
What's Make Way?
Make Way is a game, and it is not that game unless Ansel is here. It is sad if we play it without Ansel, because it is Ansel's game.
Yeah, it does. It's been working.
And then you have like 20 minutes.
That one doesn't work. Yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, this game you have. No, literally, Make Way is not Make Way without Ansel.
No, like, how do you play Make Way?
There's a bunch of pieces of track, and then you get to pick them, and then place them, so everyone gets to pick a piece and then place it.
Too
So
much
it's
of
like
Make
kind of
Way.
like a Z-Piece.
Yeah.
A little, kind of.
Wait, so it. Oh, how do you? I kind of want to try Make Way.
It's not
Anthony,
like
have you not done Make Way?
we can't play it. It's not Make Way unless Ansel is here.
Okay.
Make way!
Play that.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
My controller's not turning on.
I need to hold it.
Like they're like
Dale, wait, who's player one? I'm gonna kill anybody who's player one, so I can be player one. And then you're player
Alright, my controller's wrong.
yours do too.
Any?
Oh wait.
Oh, you just grabbed a bad control. Too bad.
Y'all, I did that.
I saw.
Oh, this is like.
I got Dory and
Any other
Wait, is this also like a? Is this also like a soapbox derby game? Oh, this is gonna be so sad. This is literally gonna be like depressing.
Wait, stop going forward. If you go back to where their number is.
Here's one.
Daniel, is this also a
Go
soapbox?
back. It's still only 3 players.
Is this also a soapbox
Go
derby?
back.
Daniel, is this
Go
also a
back.
soapbox derby?
Go back. There we go. Thank you. No, this one's a normal driving game.
Oh yeah. Also, I called it 3 at 40.
The way this one works is that
In honor of Ansel, I'll pick Cuneo.
we take turns with that, and then after the
Grace has the antenna on.
Why? Why, Grace? Why?
What's the antenna? Oh, is that like so you can like?
It's cheating.
It's
It's just
it
literally
steers
training wheels.
for you.
It steers for you. You're not really playing a racing game anymore. So,
It's on.
Grace, why did you turn the antenna on again?
So want the antenna.
No, no play with the antenna.
We're gonna loop through this a lot of times, aren't we, Grace?
Yep.
No antenna. Grace, no antenna. Wait, don't hit yes. Don't hit yes. I know that's what I'm not doing. Grace,
We can just literally be here for a
Grace,
long
turn
time,
off the
Grace.
antenna. Turn off the
Anthony hasn't even played. Why would you put on cheat codes to be unbeatable
I will crash
the
in 10
first
seconds.
time?
Also, I'm
Okay,
like,
but follow my logic here, Grace. Either you're as good as you are and as bad as you are, and Anthony learns the game, or you're perfect and no one can beat you, and Anthony learns the game. Which one sounds more fair?
Are we gonna start?
No, this is it. This is what we get to watch now.
yes, here you go.
No, someone else didn't choose their card. Player 2 hasn't chosen.
Who's player 2? I'm not gonna pick it unless Grace changes. Go. Grace. Stop, otherwise they're not playing.
Grace, like, I understand you have more fun when you get to cheat and win every time. Like, I understand.
Can't win otherwise.
No, she's not.
Right. But
Daniel, she's still not gonna win.
it's a contest of skill. And so if everyone is competing except for Grace, it's not a contest.
Well, I mean, I can still.
Okay, yeah, why don't we just all cheat then? We'll just all cheat.
I'm not. No, because I
We
want
can
to be
just
able to actually play them.
then it's a contest of skill again. We all have the same baseline, easy peasy time.
Okay, you guys can all use that. I'm not
We
gonna
could let's do that. Let's do the hard mode, where it's incredibly easy to die,
I'm not gonna do it.
and we can just all cheat.
Okay, I'm not gonna cheat still.
You're still not gonna cheat.
Because I'm insane at card games.
Okay, that's fine. I guess we'll just not cheat then.
No, you guys can all cheat. Grace can cheat. And,
Grace will just be the only cheater.
yeah. And then if you then
Right. We'll say second place is the winner.
no.
Winner is winner.
Well, that would be a 1 against 3 vote.
What the heck?
So that would not.
How do you freeze the track?
It's auto. It's just you just go to where the current end of the track is, and your piece will snap up or down to the height of the existing track. And you can flip a piece with the shoulder right. Because sometimes like it can't.
Wait, so
Yeah. So you can do.
the antenna.
Yeah.
Sigh. Am I really the only one left? Wow.
Okay, so every time we cross the checker line, we'll come back in. Worst is if you
Stop
die.
pushing me out.
That's the part that doesn't matter. Able to keep track. Because I keep watching you.
What?
That's you, Anthony.
No.
Ah.
What are the physics in this game?
It's like an RC car, where like left is always left, right is always right, even if it's straight turns.
This is annoying. Like I did not expect this.
Yeah. So every time you pass a checker line, it's like you pass a checkpoint. And so you get points for having made it through that lap. But you will come back on the next one if you got it.
Yes, I finally got the first place.
No. What? No, dude.
Yeah, it just keeps getting longer.
What the heck?
It is, yes. It's very slidey, very slide turn.
Wow, Grace. Wow.
What?
So amazing. Very
Oh my god.
Grace, how are you alive?
I don't know.
Because she has the antenna.
Oh, right.
Crazy.
So who's in second? Oh, it's me and Kira. We're tied.
No, we're tied again.
Okay,
And Tony's fourth.
Grace. Okay, you're not allowed to use the.
Oh, no. She just doesn't count now. She's like, she automatically loses.
No,
And
I'm
it's
automatically.
Whoever's in second is winning.
No, whoever's in first place is in first place.
That's actually just, an opinion that Grace has, and that's okay. Grace can have an opinion. Lots of people have.
Because there's no wall.
Went away.
If you're at the back, you'll just die. Because behind us, the track disappears. So, like, if you're far enough behind. It's really not. I mean,
Nope.
Oh my gosh, I almost made it.
because she gets to win.
And I'm also
she's
terrible
not,
at this
she's not
game.
great at this game, but the fact that there's a cheat mode, she loves it. It also means we won't get to play as long. Now the game will end soon. Because someone isn't automatic. It's weird, right?
Where am I?
Why is the trap so long?
You just ran me off the track.
That was boosted off the track. Actually build the track and then you race on it. Choosing to play on the hardest difficulty races too. Trying to can't even make the opening. So bad. Actually, I feel a little better about that. Every time. Okay, guys, do you want to know how to make that turn? Don't hit the gas. Once you hit the boost, stop hitting the gas. You need some speed.
I made it. No. Got destroyed.
Oh, Kira!
Grace got Grace
It
got
didn't work.
I'm so sorry, Kira.
It took you like.
Gosh, aim well, Kira. That jump will really carry you the wrong way if you don't. You gotta go a little faster. Because, like, eventually it's gonna time you out.
What is that laser thing?
That's the sights for her mortar launcher. Smooth sailing. You can do this. You can do this.
I can't hide when I'm dead.
Yeah, because it's all drift train on the track. Dang it, Kira.
That's not what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's a very different driving experience.
Okay, after this next one, can we make stop?
Go. Next.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can have Grace's control.
Yeah, take no. Yes, Grace.
Yeah, Grace, we don't actually want to play with someone who's cheating. It's not fun for the rest of us. Wow, Kira's winning. Good job, Kira.
Who's on Cuneo?
All
All of us. Also, I'm losing because I'm not used to the game. No, like, I got it. Yeah.
Where's the end?
Angela's favorite piece.
Arrow.
Oh, there it is.
What? Where are we? Oh, this is annoying.
You're so twisted up now. I don't know if anyone can place it. Like, that's an illegal play, and I think that works too. You know, yellow, you can't place there. It's Grace. Now you might be able to place Grace. Yeah, there you go. We are so knotted up. This is ridiculous. Oh no.
Dang it, Grace.
We're like absolutely. We're almost done with this round. Yeah, absolutely.
This game is so fun.
What?
What do you mean what? It's not fun.
Probably do something.
Get wrecked, car. Get wrecked, Grace. Now.
Oh man, stop!
Yay!
I'm gonna know right of these.
No!
Dang
Yay!
it. Oh, the live! I hit the track. I landed on the track. I shortcutted us. So shortcuts count. Yeah, if there's a good shortcut. The thing is if you go backwards.
Hey, I'm alive for longer than this time.
It's amazing. You're winning. Don't die.
No!
Not working.
That's Grace. She's cheating. She has an antenna. There's like a where like a really
You also
defeated
can't
attitude.
win if you
Great.
Great.
What?
Danny gets to have that control. You have to play around. We let you cheat for a whole round. Thank you, guys.
Daniel's still up the antenna.
No, I didn't.
Daniel.
Oh, no, he won't.
He can turn it off.
But there's just certain characters like just turn it off now.
Is there extra controller? No.
No, actually try, because I have games that support more than 4. But, like, you can't have more than 4 of these, sadly.
Where's my?
He's not here yet. Or not here at
Oh
all.
no!
Let's
That's
start
gonna
out
be
easier
so sad.
with a race.
Okay.
So now no one has the antenna. Did you want to play with mine?
Can you choose the mystery cards?
Can you choose the black ones?
Yeah.
No, you have to unlock them.
Okay, I'm gonna be 14. Where am I?
I already chose red. If you want to choose again, you can hit B.
I saw. I'm good on red.
What?
Kid car.
Oh, cool. I saw a real 14. Wait,
Where?
there's a different color than mine. What? Wait, I wanna be.
No antenna.
I'm going. Okay, I'm gonna be a Porsche. Time machine.
I got a Shelby Cobra. Bill, let's go. I place first.
There's like crack at the bottom.
What? The bottom of what? How do I set? Oh, okay, we're playing the regular ones, so they're off. Yay! I'm thinking, Anthony,
No, I'm cooking, bro.
I cooked.
Who was that?
That was me.
I just got cooked.
Yeah, I cooked you at the end.
Or I'm in second place.
I'm in second.
And we're tied. I want Alexander Hamilton. Why am I always the last one? No! Turning it down!
No!
How did I go off the edge?
How do I go off the edge? This is a hack.
You're first.
I know.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's much better. I have a baby, coffee, and my ears aren't bleeding. It's just like, it's the best form of Sunday morning.
Your baby's so cute.
Me too.
How am I still in first?
Yeah, good question.
I'm in second.
It's so fun playing without the antenna.
Where's the antenna?
Nope, you guys don't have antennas.
Dang.
Wait, what the heck is this piece?
It's a U-turn. Oh, it's the freeway. I love the
I
freeway.
hate that. I didn't have.
It literally just has like lanes of cars that aren't you guys going at all times, and you have to weave through them.
Wait, can
It's
you go
so
off the edge?
good. Oh yeah, totally. So it, like you enter diagonally, and then you run down the freeway, and then you leave
But
opposite
if you go
diagonally.
too far, can you go off the edge?
No, there's just like a car spawner and a dead wall at the end.
Oh.
So like you'll eventually get hit by a car.
Yeah, cookie. Also, why do cars bounce so far?
Some walls are walls, and some walls are tires. The tire walls really bounce you like a pinball. The walls just sort of slightly reflect you back into the center of the course. But yeah, the angle you hit at definitely changes the angle you'll bounce at. It's like a ball.
How did I just die? You guys are too fast.
have this sound?
I intentionally turn up the difficulty so that it's possible for you to die. Because in any mode, it's possible for us to die
I still win
when we don't have an antenna. Sorry guys, you gotta leave diagonally. I was saying that earlier, you can't go
You
straight
have
at the
to
end.
leave the track
Yeah,
side.
yeah, so like you enter diagonally, you leave diagonally on the freeway.
Oh, didn't see
I
that
was
hole.
looking through the hole.
I tried to explain it, but it's kind of hard without a visual.
There's no way I'm gonna
Do you see how like
first.
even the scores are, even though someone is winning? How
Yeah.
close together everyone is?
How?
This is the competition nature of the game.
How? How am I
Someone does
still
slightly
in
better than
first?
someone else,
50
but it's not
points.
the
How
same
am I still in
person
first?
every time.
I'm just 50 points.
There's actually like a back and forth. like a
Yes, I
maybe
got
I'll
this
win,
one.
maybe they'll win.
But I still win anyway. You know that, right, Daniel?
Right, if you cheat. But if you don't cheat, then you actually have to practice
And I'll lose.
and become good.
100%.
Oh, well, everyone loses until they practice and become good at the game.
Yeah, see, I've been playing
The
for
thing
that.
is, when you play with the antenna, you aren't practicing. You're actually choosing not to get better at the game.
Who is green?
That's me. That's me.
No, I
Only
started
one
bouncing
person
on
in
the
the
wall
entire
so
room.
much.
Does that not make sense to you? That like I wouldn't choose to put video games in this room if they were literally for one person only and no one else could enjoy them. I would just not have them.
Makes sense.
Also, where are like the weapons and stuff?
Can I play the
Oh,
next
that's like the
round?
medium difficulty. So like this is easy, then medium adds the items, and then hard adds items and takes away the walls.
I could not play without the walls.
No, who pushed me off the edge?
So yeah, you guys could do a medium round, and that would put in the items and leave in the walls.
Wait, I just turned myself around.
One of the things in medium though is that certain pieces will be missing their walls.
Okay, Freddie, yeah.
So you have to like actually pay attention when you select your pieces, which ones come with walls and which ones don't.
No, what? How did I go off the edge?
Man.
Which one?
Dude, I'm cracked.
Which car are you, Anthony?
I'm Cuneo.
Well, duh. Which number is it?
The OG one.
The OG with no number?
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, I'm actually not losing this. I'm actually losing this.
So
No.
he's like
Yes.
the
Yes.
horse, the green part.
ahead.
Freddie, you're
I just got into first.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you didn't win. That was so close.
Me?
Whoever had 2,900.
That's
They
me.
were literally one score away from a victory. So the way this game works is if in the same round, more than one person wins, you play a final death round or a sudden death round.
What the heck?
Where like suddenly
place
the track has no walls.
It makes
And
it
based on the fact you guys are all so close to winning and you're all going to play a full-length race, you're all going to
No, you
cross the
can
finish
rotate
line
it.
together.
How?
So the final thing will be...
rotate your thing.
There.
There you go. Now the other piece will play. Quick.
Okay, rotate it.
Yeah, play it there. Oh no, the other way. That one. So like you guys are all gonna win, and then you're all gonna play a sudden death, because you all got to the end like at the same time basically on the score chart. And so the sudden death will be this track again, but with no walls, and it's one death you're out.
Oh.
So like you can play this one and try and win, but I'll guarantee based on how long the track is, you're all gonna win. Points wise, you're all gonna cross the 3,000 threshold. And then you're all gonna have to do sudden death.
Wait, who died?
It was Carter.
Ah! What the heck?
Jeez, I'm just hitting the walls.
Oh, wait, there's no shortcuts, are there?
No, sorry, yeah. So shortcuts
I was
only
like,
come in
I-
hard mode. So if you fall off onto a later part of the track, that's it, you're dead.
Wait, what if you wait? So like, will like everybody else spawn, or will like everybody else die if you make a shortcut?
In the normal track?
Yeah.
Or in hard mode, rather? Yeah, so hard mode shortcuts are weird.
No, I just
Oh my
got
gosh, you were so far ahead! You would have taken them out if you made it. So shortcuts are weird in that you all have to take them, or all living players have to take them.
No, it was everyone was.
So like they're really hard to actually make use of, because generally speaking, the fact that there's more than one of you on screen means you can't take the shortcut anyways. So like if you're the only one left alive though, you can take a shortcut and it's like simple. The only
What
other
if
way
we
to
take
take a
the short-
shortcut and win
shortcut and
is if
kill
they're like really far
How high does
behind.
this go up?
Let's go! Let's go! I won at the last second.
Okay, I'm betting even player 2 is gonna make it to the finish line. Come on.
Yes, I did.
One more. Oh, it's so close! There it is! Okay, so now it's sudden death, no walls. First death, you're totally out of the game. So just don't fall behind and don't fall off, and you get to win.
Oh my god. I've already almost fallen off.
No, I'm getting
Oh,
pushed off.
dude, Blue's gonna take this just. No!
No.
Oh
I almost
my
made that.
No, I can't play
Oh, I'm cooking. I'm cooking.
Swerve.
There it is!
No, dang it,
Stay alive. Alright, you win.
Dang it, Danny.
So it's basically now it's just in death order.
Cut out.
Hey, I got second.
I am speed.
Alright, you guys, what was your name again? Harley? Okay, you guys should let Harley in. Who's played the most so far?
Not it.
It's Anthony and Kira, isn't it?
Kira.
Yeah. Alright, if you guys want the items back on, you just gotta pick the medium difficulty.
No, we just gotta pick. I'll control it. Don't press
Can you
it.
play Z?
Aiden's phone and I was like,
Don't. Yeah, let's play. Wait, which one is
No,
it?
we don't have time to switch games. We gotta start.
No, back.
Actually, I take it back. I'm sorry. To Harley especially. I did not realize it's 11:43. We actually just need to start.
Can we do one
This is 20 minutes past when I usually cut you off.
Yo! CPU, you're using 7% CPU? Carter looks confused. Bro, how much RAM do you have?
We're usually starting by now.
Here, take this over there. Wait.
I'm so sorry, guys. I really didn't realize it was that late.
Take it, Daniel.
Daniel, you should have just waited even longer.
How did what?
How do you get?
I don't have any.
I'm not getting.
You just said that. I was like, bro, how are you getting?
Alrighty, guys, grab a Bible, grab a chair.
I did. Right there.
I do not have money.
You get some.
I had money.
Very.
It was like a whoop. I'm not paying that money. What? Say what
Can somebody give me something? I'll pay them back later.
No, we don't trust you that much.
I forgot.
trust you.
Daniel, why don't we do games at the beginning, like not earn video games, like where you can like earn a free snack?
I love
Is the baby gonna do the service with
but
us?
Oh,
you guys keep asking for
She's
video
teaching.
games.
Oh wait, can we do video games? If you win, then you get a snack.
With the
Dude, yeah, we can totally do that again.
teach us today?
Yeah, you guys have a lot to learn.
That's my shoulder.
Crawling 101,
It took me like 3
battling 101, how to get your wave up right.
Some so annoying.
Some good lessons. Alrighty, guys. We are in 2nd Chronicles chapter 27.
Shoot.
Real quick, some announcements. This week at Topic Night, we're doing our normal 6 to 10. But after Topic Night, you 8th graders are invited to go do an all-nighter with the high school
Wait, when?
this Friday.
Wait, what? We're gonna. How am I supposed to survive?
Now,
I can't even.
I'm gonna attend. I'll be there. You're not gonna like be stranded with people you don't know.
Oh, I know.
And we may be able to get some of the other middle school leaders to go as well. So if you want to be present, don't feel like you're going to be an outcast or the only one or whatever. But we want you guys, if you're 8th graders, we want you to start to get to know the high schoolers. They're awesome. You're
What if I know most of the high schools already?
See, so like you're going to do great, okay? Now that is graduation like beta. That's like the first one. I guess it'd be alpha.
So this coming
and then we're
Friday.
going to do, this Friday, the 17th.
Okay, but the next Friday we have next Sunday we have the car wash.
Right, which 8th graders can attend and help with.
I'm going to.
Okay, so 8th graders, once again, you're invited to the car wash. Go help out in the car wash.
Are the
Raise money
eyebrows
for high school
fake?
camp. Which eyebrows? Mine?
You know, on the baby.
No, this is my child. She actually got my genes. She has my eyebrows. She even has the little whorls at the end and make the hairs go straight up and down. It's really cool.
Eyebrows look so weird on babies.
Well, dude, especially my babies, because my babies usually get Emily's eyebrows.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't noticed, that's actually how well you can notice them. Is you can't. You can't notice those eyebrows. So then there's a third announcement. So you got all-nighter this Friday if you're 8th grade, car wash on Sunday if you're 8th grade, and then, this is for everyone, not just 8th grade, the final topic night, so there's 3 left, right? Next one is an all-nighter, then there's a normal one. The final one we're gonna barbecue, and that will be your send-off graduation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then that Sunday we're going to high school.
Yeah, so the way we do our graduations is basically May, June.
I'm gonna
If it's still May, you're still in middle school. If it's June, you're in high school.
If you walk down that.
That's the way we do it.
Bro, I do
We're gonna
too.
barbecue the 8th graders
Yay!
on a Friday,
Swearing into the jail.
and then
And
whatever's
then we have my
left, go to high
graduation,
school.
and then Lily's graduation.
Wait, who's the bottle?
Yeah, but she
That's not how we do it. We're gonna feed you good. That's what we're gonna do.
When's the next
When
She
I
got
don't know,
the
probably never.
So then,
Dang,
What's
Zulu
the-
still hate me.
I actually have some thoughts on that. We'll see. But I don't have it fleshed out yet. I need to get leaders signed on it, or else I can't say yes to it. Someone gave me some inspiration on Friday, and I'm gonna see if
the
that is
Mr.
a
Beast deep
real.
dive.
Mr. Beast! No, that
Not
was the
that
other
one.
one. Not the Mr.
Not that
Beast.
one. A Nerf night idea. Thank you very much.
Wait, Nerf night. Are we gonna have Nerf night again?
Maybe. We'll
Bro,
see.
where
I
is
think we
Micah?
should do
Claire
it
Bell,
together
where's
since
Micah?
we don't do
I
this
don't live
like this overnight.
How would I know that?
Oh yeah, if it's not an overnight,
We
we
should
could.
do it together. Like
We've done it
like
once. It was a horrible mess and
Just go
failure,
Robin's
but we
house.
could totally do it again.
Wait,
What, the not overnighter one?
No, well, it was not that it was not an overnighter that was a failure. It was that it was a co-ed that our night was a failure. Because the guys and girls were both trying to nerf the way that they do, and that doesn't match well.
Hopefully this time I
Guys,
don't have a big
honestly, is anyone
I don't
surprised that
want
you hand a
to
bunch of fake guns to boys and they act different than when you handed a bunch of fake guns to girls? Is anyone
No,
surprised?
not
Is
surprised.
that like- is that weird to you?
And we'll just run all
Girls
over
would be
the
like, are you going on what?
I don't know if you understand girls at all.
Oh yeah.
I'm going
What is that? I was
That was close. That was close. It's not too far off, actually.
Guys,
I'm going to 3
So
churches.
let me just say this:
okay?
girls
You
get
texted me, like,
competitive,
yesterday.
and boys get competitive.
I don't
But
go to
girls'
breaks, I go to
competitive streak does not look like
Which we don't even
boys'
like.
competitive streak.
I don't
It's
know. I'm
not
still going there.
all that
And
similar.
then,
And
going
yeah, a
to-
lot of feelings were
Yeah.
hurt.
and then I go to a church in Oregon.
So we ended up playing a lot of not Nerf games at that Nerf night, and those were
Yes.
great.
neighborhood
There wasn't any guns in their hands. That
Our Nerf nights all night.
Typically, yeah. Typically,
Wait,
it's
but
overnight.
ours
But no,
wasn't.
they're-
Well, that's
Girls'
up to
Nerf
you.
night was really boring.
I'm awake the whole time. If you
But
want
the
to Nerf
boys'
the whole
Nerf
time,
night
that's
they
fine.
didn't.
For the most of the night, yeah, actually.
Last year
It-
there
And
wasn't.
she
Most
got
of the
there during day, so I
guys
couldn't talk to her
don't
after,
stay up all
so-
night, but some of the guys stay up all night every time.
What do you bring to the all-nighter in high school? Like, do you have
Not a sleeping bag. It's co-ed, so they don't allow sleeping.
Yeah, there's no sleeping.
What?
But why not know that it's all night?
But
I
why
know,
don't we
but like I know I'm
So
gonna
just
vividly
no
So
fall
like
asleep.
energy drinks, like that. What else you gonna-
I will keep that snack.
A neck pillow so you can sleep like sitting up or something.
I will keep it. I will give you guys bank because I probably won't buy
Oh yeah.
Because I have this big gigantic automatic
Oh,
rifle
totally.
gun.
We try to get you to leave your ammo at
Do
home
the sacrament.
because we don't want it to mix in with the lunch. We have thousands and thousands of rounds here of like all the different kinds. So we prefer people
Well,
use
nobody
it.
would care.
Otherwise, you're just gonna lose them. You know, when you shoot a dart onto a floor that like has 500 darts on it,
I love how we're all friends.
There's no way you're getting
there's no way. And it sucks if you only own like 20 darts and some kid steps on your dart. Like, that's awful. It's a nightmare. All right, we need to hurry up. So I just wanted you guys to get the lay of the land in your head. This Friday is a thing. It is all night. Sunday is a thing if you are in 8th grade, and the last topic night is a thing if you're in middle school. So invite people.
Sundays and
Question from Anthony.
Yes, for the Nerf night, do you guys allow for like the normal Nerf bullets? Do you guys allow hard bullet, like the hard tip?
You have to just show me the bullet. I don't know. Yeah,
Like some of them are
There,
really
we allow lots of different kinds. You just have to show it to me. Let me feel it. Shoot me once with it, and I'll tell you. All right, guys. We're gonna read all of chapter 27 really
Okay,
fast.
don't let Anthony bring his own books because he said he's going to put tax on it.
Actually.
All right, so we're in the book of 2 Chronicles. It is a history book written in around 450 BC to try and explain to the people coming back from Babylonian captivity. They were like, a whole country kidnapped, finally released 7 years later. And when they get back, they don't, for the most part, know their own history. These are kids that grew up in a foreign country. They grew up going to Babylonian schools. They didn't understand what Israel was supposed to be about. And so the people that were the oldest, who actually remembered some of this stuff, wrote down the entire history of the country in 1st and 2nd Chronicles, and that's what we're studying through. We already went through 1st and 2nd Samuel, which covers the same part of the timeline as 1st Chronicles, and now we're going through 2nd Chronicles. Also during this timeline are a bunch of prophets, and so today is one of the first times we're going to not only read our little spot in 2nd Chronicles, we're going to jump over and read some stuff from the prophets to kind of give the backstory to some of these things. Most of what we're reading is written with this idea of I'm going to teach you your history. That's how the book is written. But we have these prophets who are just living out daily life for a prophet, which is go and tell a king he's dumb, or go and tell the nation they have to do something, or go and tell someone that they're about to suffer some doom if they don't make a quick turnaround in their life. And the prophets just do this on a regular basis, and so their stories are very different from just a history book perspective of what the nation's going through. So we're going to check out chapter 27 first, and then we'll jump into some other parts. But you can kind of see here, since we're covering two different kings today, both Jotham and Ahaz, Jotham?
I don't know.
I'm going to go with Jotham. Jotham and Ahaz. Jotham, really good king, super duper cool guy. So they actually shortened up his chapter because almost like no big detailed stories happen in his kingship. It's just like smooth sailing. And then Ahaz, literally the worst king that ever existed in the south. Back to back, it's pretty cool. And their reigns even overlapped. So it was probably a very weird time when one of the best kings in all of their history and one of the worst kings in all of their history were co-ruling for a small chunk of time.
What do you mean, one of these?
What?
I think said it was the worst.
Ahaz is the worst, Jotham's one of the best. Did I say it wrong? Did I say it backwards?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. So Ahaz is the worst. Jotham's one of the best. All right, so yeah, they overlap with Isaiah and Micah, who are prophets, and a little bit with Amos, but we're going to actually read from Micah and Isaiah today. Yeah.
Which one was constipated? Asa or Jehoshaphat?
Oh, I always
Asa died
forget.
from
You
the
can go back
foot
and check
thing.
it, but I think it's that guy, the one after Jehoshaphat.
Why is
Jehovah.
Not positive. Not positive. I forget now. It's been a few
One
weeks.
time I got constipated for 2 weeks.
But he didn't die.
I didn't die.
All right. Chapter 27.
Did Otis back on constipation?
Chapter 27 says this. Jotham was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 16 years. His mother was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. Jotham did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight. He did everything his father Uzziah had done, except that Jotham did not sin by entering the temple of the Lord. We saw Uzziah was a really good king when he started. We saw that last week. And he got prideful. He got puffed up because everything was going so well for him. And eventually went and tried to do the priest's job and go and sacrifice incense in the temple. He wasn't allowed to enter the temple. He wasn't allowed to burn the incense, but he just did it anyways. So Jotham does all the good stuff, but he doesn't do that. So the people continued, though, in their corrupt ways. Verse 3, Jotham rebuilt the upper gate of the temple of the Lord. He also did extensive rebuilding on the wall at the hill of Ophel. He built towns in the hill country of Judah and constructed fortresses and towers in the wooded areas. Jotham went to war against the Ammonites and conquered them. And over the next 3 years, he received from them an annual tribute of 7,500 pounds of silver, 50,000 bushels of wheat, and 50,000 bushels of barley. King Jotham became powerful because he was careful to live in obedience to the Lord his God. The rest of the events of Jotham's reign, including all his wars and other activities, are recorded in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 16 years. And when Jotham died, he was buried in the city of David, and his son Ahaz became the next king. So here's a weird question. How do you end up being one of the best kings in the entire history of the country, and yet you raise, as your son, the worst king in the entire history of the country?
Because the son doesn't listen to you.
It's very possible.
He's too busy playing video games.
He's too busy.
The son.
He was in his rebellion phase. Oh, yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah.
Or
Grace is talking to
king was so focused on doing good, maybe he didn't parent his kid.
It's possible. It sounds like he was a busy guy, out of the house a lot, managing all these other projects. Yeah.
Way too gentle.
Gentle parenting. Oh, that'll get you every time. Alan,
Maybe he wasn't really involved.
not super duper involved.
Maybe
I
there
would
was
say,
another guy.
and we don't have details exactly on Jotham, but I would say it is frequently the case when we do have details that the kings end up with more than one wife or too many kids, and they don't spend enough time with the family. It is frequently the case. In a lot of these king stories, that's one of the small failures in the scope of what the history book's trying to tell. But in the scope of a family, that's everything. That's the whole thing. It's how much time you spend together. So yeah, I don't know the exact reason. Any one of these or several of these could all be true. But we know that it's the case. We know that you've got this awesome king Jotham, and yet the worst king Ahaz is his son. So something went wrong. One of the things I think that really gives you a hint, though, and again, we're guessing, this is a hint, it's not clear, is it says that the people continued in their corrupt way. So one of the things you see some of the good kings doing that we don't see Jotham doing is he doesn't start any campaigns to teach and guide the people spiritually on top of like just the normal stuff like they can show up at the temple and ask questions. Some of the best kings that we have in Israel's history, what they did is they actually sent out teachers to the places where people lived, almost like missionaries from Judah to Judah, local missionaries. Some of the kings did that, and it had a huge effect on the people when they would send spiritual teachers out to towns, to villages, and get people to understand things about God. We don't see him doing that. We don't see him tackling the terrible idol worship that was taking place in Israel off and on for years and years. We just see him taking control of his own life. He worships God. He follows God. And that's good. And that's good for any dad, any man, any person. But if you're in charge of a group, you can't just be good. You also have to lead them. You have to get them to do those right things. You have to teach them to do those right things. You have to teach them to have a relationship with God. You can't just do it yourself. That's not actually enough. once you have a place of authority and a place of responsibility. So we don't see Jotham doing that, and we see there's going to be consequences. Just not in his lifetime. He actually gets good consequences for his good actions. So now we'll jump over to Ahaz. Chapter 28. Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 16 years. This is very similar to his dad, but he did start 5 years earlier. He did not do what was pleasing in the sight of the Lord as his ancestor David had done. Instead, he followed the examples of the kings of Israel, and he cast metal images for the worship of Baal. He offered sacrifices in the valley of Ben Hinnom, even sacrificing his own sons in the fire. In this way, he followed the detestable practices of the pagan nations the Lord had driven out from the land ahead of the Israelites, and he offered sacrifices and burned incense at the pagan shrines and on the hills and under every green tree. Because of all this, the Lord his God allowed the king of Aram to defeat Ahaz and to exile large numbers of his people to Damascus. The armies of the king of Israel also defeated Ahaz and inflicted many casualties on his army. In a single day, Pekah son of Remaliah, Israel's king, killed 120,000 of Judah's troops. All of them experienced warriors. Okay, I am hearing like 9 kinds of whispering happening in the circle.
Daphne's the main one.
Do you have a Bible?
No.
What the heck?
He was trying
He
to take
stole it
mine.
from me.
What the heck?
I didn't. He was trying to take mine.
Okay,
Oops.
dude, get a Bible. We have like so many Bibles.
Oh.
Grace, do you have a Bible?
But I don't have my shoes
Grace.
on.
Do you have a Bible? Get a Bible. Thank you.
Also, she
Go.
was
Get
threatening
a
to pull
Bible.
my hair.
You can
No, I
move.
wasn't.
Grace, I can ask you to move.
Not
Please
you,
don't
Danny.
continue. He said that about Grace. He didn't say it about you.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank
No, I
you.
wasn't.
All right. So, walk through this with me for a second. 120,000 troops, kind of a big deal. We saw a few weeks ago that when the armies are numbered in the past, they're right around that 300,000 number. Like Judah's army is right around that size.
I like the number 3.
Well, it fluctuates, but I mean, like on average, it's around 300,000 as you go through these
Maybe
different kings in
because all
history.
of the towns.
So losing 120,000 means they lost nearly half. And it says, this is the worst part, in a day. In a single day.
Wow.
Now, I know the United States military is larger than this, and I know we have modern weaponry, and warfare is different now. But it would still be probably the worst defeat in modern history if we lost close to half the army in a day. All right, just percentage-wise,
That's embarrassing.
it would be monumental. It would completely upend things if we lost that many troops. We would have to reshuffle the distribution of soldiers across the entire planet to compensate for losing this percentage of the army. It would be insane. Absolutely insane. This would probably spark warfare with people we've never been at war with, because they would just see us as weak all of a sudden. And they'd be like, oh, America lost half their troops. Now's the perfect time to start up a war. Let's all hit them at once. This could spell the end for any nation. If word gets out, you just lost half your army. Generally speaking, the reason you're not at war with someone is because you both know how bad it would be if you were. That's generally the reason that peace exists in this world. I know it's really sad, actually, that that's the case. But that is where most of the peace comes from. There is some peace in the world from we're actually good friends, and we have a history of being nice to each other. And I can remember all the times I was nice to you, and you can remember all the times you were nice to me, and vice versa. But that's not most of the peace. Most of the peace comes from, I don't like what would happen if we attacked each other. So if suddenly one of those neighboring countries that you're afraid to attack or be attacked by just drops off half their army, that's it. Battle lines immediately form. Now there's a chance we could take their resources, we could take their people. Mr. Danny, the cup noises. The cup noises have to stop.
Mr. Danny.
Mr. Danny.
Mr.
That was
Danny.
another cup noise. Are you understanding what my request is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so are you flexing a cup still with your hands?
I think so.
Yeah, it seems that way. It seems that way. Can we put the cup on the floor in the trash can, please?
Just put it on his head.
I would prefer that you did not.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. All right, so they lose half their army. This is bad. It's from 2 different sides they're being attacked. This is directly north. We're talking about Judah, by the way. Judah's down here. They're attacked by Israel, and they're attacked by Aram. And there has been, over the last few kings, a weird trifecta of alliances between these 3. Sometimes Judah and Aram are friends and they attack Israel. Sometimes Israel and Judah are friends and they attack Aram. Now Aram and Israel are friends and they're attacking Judah. Does anyone have any people at school who are like this?
Yes.
You don't even know who they're friends with this week? You can't even tell anymore? Like, are they with them? I can't tell.
Oh, yeah,
They
that's
hate them this week? Why do they hate them this time? I'm not even sure anymore.
I know. Then I get scared when they're nice to me. I'm like, okay,
Right, like something's going on. This is weird, right? This is what's happening here. These three can never really fully decide who's going to be friends with who this week. It's nutso. So now the two in the north are friends and they're attacking Judah. It's crazy. All right, so then we get to verse 7. Then Zikri, a warrior from Ephraim, killed Masai, the king's son, Azrikam, the king's palace commander, and Elkanah, the king's second in command. What's important about those three dudes that you really need to know is they're all close to the king. And what that tells you is the king probably almost died. Because if his second in command, his palace commander, and his son were all standing in one place at one time, it's weird if he's not standing there. Does that follow? Does that make sense? Like his son, his palace commander, and his second, like they're all in one place. The king was probably there. And they're all dead now. So it means the king probably almost died. Not great. And the armies of Israel captured 200,000 women and children from Judah and seized tremendous amounts of plunder, which they took back to Samaria. Now, family sizes are not super duper well known. We only have a few examples of how many people were in a family. Generally, from what we know, people were having more kids back then.
Like
In
Mormons.
general. Just in general. Not specifically, okay? But any particular family, just on average, would probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of like 6 kids. That would be like the average back then. Whereas like the average today is closer to like 2.
Mormons are scary.
I know, and in some places it's like 1.5.
How does that work?
It's an average.
Are they paralyzed?
Yeah, that's how it works, guys. That's how math works. Okay, so obviously if your average is like 6 kids, that means the average family is 8. And if all the men are off at war, you might think that means like for every man there's 7 more people in the population. But a lot of the boys in that family would be considered men pretty early on. They would be going to war too.
2-year-old boy.
Not 2, not that early. That's
Like,
stupid.
like 12.
No one is
It was
2 and
14,
going to
right?
war. It's not like that at all.
Like
it's
12.
probably like 6 or something.
No. 14 is usually where people call it. But the thing is, we use numbers, we use age specifically, like how many times you've been around the calendar as the determiner. They didn't. They didn't act that way. They were like, oh, you turned 18, now you're officially an adult. It wasn't like that. So they would judge based on your actions, based on what you'd accomplished, based on how you were able to live your life. Were you running your own piece of the farm? Were you raising your own sheep? Were you able to go and convince another family that you were ready to marry their daughter? All of these things were contiguously associated with, are you a man?
Wait.
It wasn't like this one little age where you're like, ta-da, it's my birthday, now I'm a man. That's a much more modern convention. Yeah.
So if you were like 10 and you were super responsible,
You would also have to look the part. You couldn't pull it off if you were
Okay,
like
what if-
the baby-faced, 3-foot tall 10-year-old.
What if you were
No
rich?
one's gonna go for it.
what if you were rich and had a baby?
And a baby, that's iffy. That's iffy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if it's the exact opposite?
The bodybuilder 10-year-old.
Baby
Dude, if you
Gronk.
kill a bear in
Who's
protecting
Baby
your
Gronk?
flock of sheep,
You
at some
don't
point
know
people
who
are gonna be
Baby
like, yeah,
Gronk
okay,
is.
he's a man.
Are you kidding me?
All right,
Like,
he's a
he's
man. He
obsessed
ripped the
with
bear's
what
head
he
off.
done.
No,
All
what have you
right.
done? Obsessed with him. Baby Gronk living
No, that guy's-
everything
that-
up.
you still get the death
Done.
penalty
The
then.
TikTokers, but
All right, so.
Grace, stop kicking my chair.
Grace, you kicking chairs?
Yes, you are.
Can you scoot like in line somewhere? Put your chair in line with the other chairs.
but not behind my chair.
In line specifically means not behind. That's actually what in line
yeah.
means.
Yeah, he's
So Grace, you could jump over here, you could jump in there, jump over there, jump over there. There's literally an empty seat. Oh wait, that
I'm
was
on my,
That's
Abby.
Abby.
I'm on my football's back.
You can make space over there with
No, I
Krista.
didn't. He stole it from me.
You'd have to take the chair with you. There's not an extra
Yes,
chair,
he
but
stole it
there's
from
room for your chair.
Tell him.
Oh, yeah, great. You can sit next to
using
me.
it.
Sweet.
You
Here,
modern.
can you move the hair that way?
Modern American. He's a American.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace.
There we go. Stealing stuff.
Alrighty, so jump over with me real fast to Micah. You guys ever read the book of Micah?
Yeah.
It's towards the end of the Old Testament. So like if you hit a New
I
Testament book,
only read it because
if you
it
hit
has
Matthew,
my-
Mark, Luke, John, then you got too far. But it's pretty far
Only
over.
reason why I wrote it.
It's pretty far over. So Malachi is the last one, then you go backwards to Zechariah,
I wrote my
then you go backwards to Haggai, backwards Zephaniah, Habakkuk, then Micah. If I get a page number, I'll let you know what it is. I'm almost there.
Like what? 7?
7. So we're in page 769. pretty far through the Old Testament. You've got like most of the Old Testament between you and 2nd Chronicles. We'll be back in 2nd Chronicles. So don't lose your spot. All right, so Micah 7, 2 through 6. This is a prophet. He's just talking to the people. Okay, he's not specifically engaging anyone in this passage. And he's talking about the place where Israel is right now. Judah. The place where Judah is right now spiritually as a nation, and what's going to happen to that nation and what will happen after that. So he's like just giving a timeline of the future to the people, letting them know what is going on. And the reason this is important is because they're not doing well. We read this under Jotham. The people were still corrupt, even though Jotham was a good king. And now under Ahaz, the worst king in Judah's history, it didn't get better magically. It didn't just like magically all the bad went away, okay? It got worse. So this is what Micah says to the people. Verse 2. The godly people have all disappeared. No one honest person is left on the earth. Notice the phrasing there. That is the same as saying, not one. Not one honest person. They are all murderers. This isn't talking about Judah. They're all murderers. Setting traps, even for their own brothers.
Well, they are brothers.
Both their hands are equally skilled at doing evil. Officials and judges alike demand bribes. The people with influence get what they want, and together they scheme to twist justice. Even the best of them is like a briar. Does anyone know what a briar is?
No.
Oh yeah, I know.
What's a briar?
It's like a bunch of tangled thorns.
Yes, it's a tangle of thorns. You guys ever stepped in like a blackberry bush when you're hiking?
Yeah.
And like get stuck to your pants? Or heaven forbid you're not wearing pants, you're wearing shorts?
No, one time I got like a
Or you're not wearing shorts.
Yeah. Oh. That's even all. That's way worse. Yeah. One time we were hiking down from a trail to another trail. There was no trail between them that we could find, so we just like go down the side of this hill down towards the river. And as we keep going down, we stop being able to find a way that isn't briars. It's just like bands of briars, just like big long strips of them. And so you have to like do like a jump downhill, or you have to walk through the briars. And so we tried to like, you know, slowly position our feet so we're only stepping on top of them, right? You're just like pressing down briars underneath you. And if you slip, they go, and they pop up around your leg. It's not a good time. So this is what they say about the people in charge. The people in charge of you, a judge who you like take in disagreement to. This guy cheated me. He's evil. He's a murderer. You go to the judge. Well, guess what? The judge is like a briar. You put one foot in there, you're not getting it back.
Dang.
You put one foot in there, you're getting scratched. You're getting scarred. This is what the people in charge are like. The most honest is as dangerous as a hedge of thorns. The most honest. It's so sad. But your judgment day is coming swiftly now. Your time of punishment is here, a time of confusion. Don't trust anyone, not your best friend or even your wife. Dang!
I don't have a wife.
Well, okay, but his point was, even a married couple at this point in history wouldn't be able to trust that their spouse is going to stand up for them and not cheat them.
Cheat on them?
Any kind of cheating. So maybe that kind, maybe another kind.
Cheating in
It's pretty bad. What's that?
yeah, like
Video game, like with
No.
yeah, like
The
someone
serious
blonde
kinds.
hair and short shoulders.
Yeah, this is not about antennas, Kira. This is not about antennas. All right, verse 6, last one. For the son despises his father, the daughter defies her mother, the daughter-in-law defies her mother-in-law. Your enemies are right in your own household. So this is the thing. When the nation goes this sour, even the family turns against itself. And when the family turns against itself, people start looking outward to people who are not in their family for someone they can trust, for someone they can rely on. But we've already discovered those people were corrupt too. So when the family goes, the truth is there isn't anything left. And that is so sad, because it is true today that some families are eating each other. They are just like destroying each other. They are like acid when they're around each other. And in the modern day, if your family falls apart, you do what they did. You look for someone on the outside to rely on. Someone who's not in the family to trust in. Someone that you want to be there for you. But if they're not family, it's going to be so hard. And what's so sad about this is pre-Christ. In this day and age, we have something glorious from God that people have not always had for all of time. We have brothers and sisters in Christ. People who put Christ first and love you not because you're good enough or you've earned it or you deserve it or, well, you're nice to me, so I'll be nice to you, but if you mess up, then I'm going to mess you up.
Yikes.
No, we're nice to each other. We treat each other with respect. We love each other because Christ loved us first. And we love him most of all, and he loves the other brothers and sisters in Christ, so I'm going to too. And I'm going to do it even if they mess up. I'm going to do it even if they cheat me. Even if they lie to me. Even if they mistreat me, I'm going to love them. And because of that ethos, because of that way of treating people, that we love each other regardless of how we mess up, we are now, not on our own merit, not because we're so awesome, but because of what he's done for us, now we are the medicine for this world. We are what this world needs, because this world is losing its ability to even trust in its own family members, let alone strangers. They need a group of people that can be relied upon, to respect them, to love them, to treat them properly. And they can't find it elsewhere. And so in Micah's day, there was no one.
So today?
Well, no, today, if we're following Christ, we can rely on each other. Not that Micah. Oh, dang, I just got your joke. That took me a second. I'm a little slow. He's talking about Micah Lang. So in the prophet Micah's day, is that better? Is that helpful?
No, it's not.
There wasn't a church. There weren't Christians. This is pre-Christianity in the prophet Micah's day. So when they lament that there is no one to rely on because family has forsaken each other and strangers have way forsaken each other, there's no recovery from that, not easily. It's got to start at the top and it's got to flood all through the country for real recovery to happen. Okay, go to the next chapter part with me. Back in 2 Chronicles, back at verse 9, we're going to zoom in here and see this really bad turn in the war, but it's fixed by a man of God, by someone who trusts in the Lord, listens to the Lord, and then speaks for the Lord. And these three must occur. If we're going to have an effect on this world, we have to do these three. You have to trust in him, listen to him, and then speak for him. If you are not willing to do this, then you accept the downward spiral of the world. You accept that people are awful and they're going to get awful treatment. You accept that the family's falling apart and everyone's just going to die. Or you can trust in the Lord, listen to the Lord, and speak for the Lord. And you can actually, in that sphere of influence that you have, in that place where you get to be heard, you can make the world better in that little place. Now, on average, the end is coming. On average, the world's going to get worse until it's over. Like if you statistically sum up the world, yeah, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse until Jesus gets back here. He fixes it finally. But that's on average. The truth is, you specifically, in one group of people, you can actually make it better. You can actually bring the light and the truth and the love of God into that little circle.
Yeah.
And you can actually make that a good place. And that circle can grow. That's an awesome thing.
Bring a Bible and cookies.
Say that one more time.
Bring a Bible and cookies.
Bring a Bible. A little bit of bride, a little bit of truth.
Bibles
It goes a long way.
delicious.
Goes a long way. All right, so chapter 28, verse 9. Says, but a prophet of the Lord named Oded. Now, remember where we left off. Sorry, one quick thing. We didn't talk about it much, but they captured 200,000 women and children
Yeah.
and kidnapped them.
So wait. Is it 2,000?
200,000.
200,000 women and 200,000 children, or to
No.
combine?
200,000 women and children. Because there's like the military loss. They lost 120,000 troops. And then shortly after that, because they're short on troops, they can't protect themselves.
They lost 200,000.
They lost 200,000 women and children who were kidnapped. The way it happened was those dudes are on the front line. When they die, there's a giant retreat. And when they retreat, they only retreat in like one major direction. That left a bunch of villages and cities and towns unprotected. So the troops that won that battle and killed the 120,000 keep advancing. And every village and town they come to, they just take whatever they want, steal all the stuff, and then they steal the people. They kidnap all the people from those towns. So these towns are getting wiped clean. There's no stuff left, and now the troops are elsewhere, all the men are elsewhere. Now all the women and children are kidnapped, They're just leaving destroyed, empty villages and towns in their wake.
Wow, they don't have knives.
Womp womp.
Well, if you fight back, that's fine, but you're talking about, someone who's not trained in warfare, children in some cases, they're much smaller and weaker, versus soldiers who have not only weaponry but experience. Okay, so it's not a fair fight. Like, just numbers alone won't get you there, right? It's not going to work like that. And this is pre-steel. Okay, whatever you have is a crude thing. It's not like some expert-made dagger like you can go pick up at any store these days. Like you just go get a kitchen knife, right? They didn't even have those back then. That wasn't even a thing yet. Like most people here today, if they have like a wood stove, they own an axe. You can pick up your axe and use it like a weapon, right? But like that's not how their axes work. Their axes were rocks. Okay, like it's not that same.
So it was stone.
Yeah, a lot of their tools were stones. Weapons were made out of metal because they realized really fast you can make a much longer sword out of metal than you can out of stone. Like, it's not a fair contest. Yeah, and so they would typically use the bronze in this era, and then moving forward a little past this, they'd start to get into some iron. But iron was something that only certain nations actually had the technology of at this point. This is right on the period of history where everyone starts to move from bronze to iron. This is like right as the shift is occurring.
Some nations would be like
Old tech, new tech.
updated.
Yeah,
so
like
it'd be
like an
updated.
RTS. It would be like Age of Empires or something. Some of them hit the next age earlier. No, because one of the first nations to get iron, we're going to hear about at the end of the chapter, the Assyrians. They go from being a country to being the world's first true empire. And it's on the back of iron technology. They're the first ones to hit true empire status, and it was because of iron. It's kind of crazy. And from that point on, every empire that comes after them got their empire status by beating the prior empire and taking the whole empire at once, rather than having to rebuild an empire. So the Assyrians get the first one. They did it by beating Egypt, who had like a low-key empire, where it's like, I take your money. I don't actually rule you, but you send me money. Assyria starts ruling the empire. They make a real empire. Then they're beaten by Babylon, then they're beaten by the Medo-Persians, then they're beaten by the Grecians, then they're beaten by the Romans. And like everyone from that point on is just taking the last empire over. Yeah, taxes. Taxes was the way to go. So, yeah, the Assyrians have it. They're the ones who first get it going. All right, so back to the text. 200,000 women and children taken. Now verse 9, this is the guy who stands up and says something about it. But a prophet of the Lord named Oded was there in Samaria, that's the capital of the north, when the army of Israel returned home. So this is after they did the whole thing, they killed all the dudes, they kidnapped all the people. He went out to meet them and said, "The Lord, the God of your ancestors, was angry with Judah and let you defeat them. But you have gone too far, killing them without mercy, and all heaven is disturbed. And now you are planning to make slaves of these people from Judah and Jerusalem. What about your own sins against the Lord your God?" So Israel, not perfect, they've never had a good king. Judah, not perfect, they're currently under their worst king ever. But God was mad enough with Judah for how bad they've gotten that he let them lose. But Israel didn't just win, they won and then sinned in their victory.
Wow.
Now, I know this seems weird, because to us, like, murder and violence is just wrong automatically, but war is not automatically wrong. And this is a hard concept to really get into your head. But there are reasons to go to war that would be considered just. But that doesn't mean you get to do something unjust or sinful in the midst of the war, in addition to the war. So how does this work out? Well, you could fight for your life in a war and kill someone, and that wouldn't be the same thing as murder. But you couldn't capture someone in war and then like go torture them.
That's wrong.
That's wrong. Like there's a line there where like at one point you're fighting for your life, you're fighting for your country, and at another point you're actually enjoying something dark and evil. This would be the same for kidnapping. It's not the same for a prisoner of war. There's actually a difference between a prisoner of war and a kidnap. Does anyone know the difference?
Yeah. So if you capture somebody from war, you can get information on how to defeat the other person, but kidnapping is just wrong.
But what's the difference?
The difference is that you're just taking them against their will, and in war, it's like they asked for that.
So here's how it shakes out. If you're on the battlefield, and it's like side A versus side B, and at some point side A is like super duper winning, side B just like lays down their weapons and says we give up, we surrender. What do? Do you let them just like go back to their country?
No, you shoot them.
No, you take them. And under that circumstance, they're a prisoner of war. And what that means is you keep them till the end of the war, and you use them to end the war. The fact that the side B is missing all these troops now means they can't fight you anymore. And so you can declare victory by capturing those troops. But it's not the same thing as kidnapping, because essentially what you're doing is you're just putting them in like a temporary prison, and then you let them go. But you're not holding them for a different purpose, and that's key. And you're not holding them just because you like it. You're doing it to end the war. And then how you treat them should match as well. Okay, if you kidnap someone to torture or to make them your slave or to whatever, like there's clearly an intent there. If you capture them because you're trying to end the war, that's an intention that's okay.
Just gives them fine dining bequests.
Fine dining. Prison food doesn't have to be fine dining. You can just have it be prison food. So capturing them to end the war versus capturing them for some other purpose. These are very, very different things. And so when this prophet stands up to the people of Israel, he basically says, guys, you won. You should have just let that be it. But then you had to go and kidnap women and children. That doesn't end the war, guys. Okay? That doesn't make the war be over when you kidnap women and children. You already killed 120,000 troops. Like, that was the end of the war. The kidnapping after that was all extra. That was way too much. And so now, warning to you guys, yeah, you won because God was mad at them. That's why they lost. God was mad at them. But now, you've sinned greatly on top of your victory. What do you think is going to happen to you? It's not good. So he says, listen to me. Return these prisoners you've taken, for they are your own relatives. Watch out, because now the Lord's fierce anger has been turned against you. Now, even though they're evil in the north and they haven't had a good king in years, they do know truth when they hear it. So verse 12, then some of the leaders of Israel, not all, but some were wise. Azariah, son of Jehonan, Berechiah, son of, I love this name, this is a hard one though, Meshillemoth. That's a good one. Jehizekiah, son of Shalom, and Amasa, son of Hadlai, agreed with this and confronted the men returning from battle. You must not bring the prisoners here, they declared. We cannot afford to add to our sins and guilt. Our guilt is already great, and the Lord's fierce anger is already turned against Israel. So they already know they're sinning, they're sinful, and they deserve punishment of their own. Judah was in a worse state at this one point in time, so they're the ones who lost. But they know if we become the worse of the two, we're going to start losing. So the warriors released the prisoners and handed over the plunder in sight of the leaders of all the people. And then the four men just mentioned by name came forward and distributed clothes from the plunder to the prisoners who were naked. They provided clothing and sandals to wear, gave them enough food and drink, and dressed their wounds with olive oil. They put those who were weak on donkeys and took all the prisoners back to their own people in Jericho, the city of palms. Then they returned to Samaria. Now Jericho, you can find it on the map there, is right on the border. It's a border town. So they not only go back on what they had done wrong, they try to fix what they had done wrong. They clothe, they dress the wounds, they provide medical care. Like, this is the right thing to do in this situation. Even if you had prisoners of war and that was like considered okay, you shouldn't take an injured prisoner of war and just let them sit there bleeding to death. Once they're under your care, they're your responsibility. And if you're going to try and actually conduct a proper, like, moral warfare, you should actually try to heal a prisoner of war. You should try to give them hospital care if they need hospital care. All right? And again, the purpose is to end the war. That's not what they did. The four told them what was up, and they listened. This is one of the best moments in Israel's history, weirdly, is when they kidnapped 200,000 people. And then they realized what they'd done wrong. And they turned it around and they did the right thing. It's pretty sad that that's their best moment, but like, that's it. Now we are running short on time. Is anyone familiar with the prophecy in Isaiah that says that Jesus would be born of a virgin?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You guys are familiar with that prophecy?
Yes.
Okay. In chapter 7, though, it doesn't say Jesus by name. Does anyone know what the prophecy actually says?
He says
Messiah, right?
The Son of Man.
So Isaiah chapter 7,
The child.
verse 10, says, later the Lord sent this message to King Ahaz. So this is Isaiah where I'm reading from, but it's about King Ahaz from chapter 28. Ahaz is one chapter in the whole of Chronicles, but he has several chapters in Isaiah. Because Isaiah is a prophet of God who speaks to a king when the king messes up. And Ahaz messes up sometimes. And so Isaiah has a lot to say to Ahaz. He says, ask the Lord your God for a sign of confirmation, Ahaz. Make it as difficult as you want, as high as heaven or as deep as the place of the dead. But the king refused.
He said, no, I will not test the Lord like that. And then Isaiah said, listen well, you royal family of David. That's like using your first, middle, and last name. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, my mom does.
Oh, I really
Yeah.
do. So my sister does
They didn't have last names back then, right? Last names were like the closest thing they had was who was your dad. Okay, so he like calls him by his great grandpa. He's going like full name. Okay, listen up, you royal family of David. It's weird. He's making it like an insult now. Isn't it enough to exhaust human patience? So he's saying, I'm getting impatient, and I'm just the prophet. Must you exhaust the patience of my God as well? All right then. The Lord himself will give you the sign. Look, the virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. By the time this child is old enough to choose what is right and reject what is wrong, he'll be eating yogurt and honey. For before the child is that old, the lands of the two kings you fear so much, Aram and Israel, will both be deserted. We'll pause there. There's a lot more you can read. I recommend it. Chapter 7 is pretty cool. Now, this prophecy is one of those two-level prophecies. We get this all through the Old Testament, where there's a near fulfillment that happens really soon after the prophecy is given, and then there's a far fulfillment that has something to do with the Messiah. And so in this passage, he calls that child of promise, Emmanuel, God with us. And that's a very neutral statement, right? If you just said to your mom, oh yeah, Sarah was with me, Jim was with me, it doesn't really say anything, right? It doesn't mean anything. Like if you got home from school and you have a black eye, and your mom's like, what happened? And you're like, oh yeah, Jim was with me. What does that mean? That doesn't tell you anything, right? So in the first prophecy in chapter 7, it says, Emmanuel, God is with us, is the name of the child of promise. You get to chapter 8, the story changes a little. So let's fast forward. Because remember, it's a prophecy about their situation right then, that Ahaz is being oppressed by these two northern nations, but it's also a prophecy about Jesus at the same time. And some of the details will be fulfilled here at the near term, and all the details will be fulfilled later with Jesus. This is how these prophecies work. So, chapter 28, verses 16 through 27 real fast. At that time, King Ahaz of Judah asked the king of Assyria, which is pretty far off in the northeast here, for help. The armies of Edom had again invaded Judah. So now he's getting hit from the south. He's got Israel coming against him. He's got Aram coming against him. He's got Edom now coming against him. He's surrounded. They'd again invaded Judah and taken captives. And the Philistines had raided towns. That's on the west, located in the foothills of Judah and in the Negev of Judah, it's the desert on the south. They have already captured and occupied Beth Shemesh, Aijalon, Gederoth, I lost my spot there, Succoth, it's Soko. Sorry.
Like what?
My brain is trying to make that a two-line word. Succoth is a real town in Israel. I'm sorry. Soko with its villages, Timnah with its villages, and Gimzo with its villages. The Lord was humbling Judah because of King Ahaz of Judah, for he had encouraged his people to sin and had been utterly unfaithful to the Lord. So when King Tiglath-Pileser of Assyria arrived, he attacked Ahaz instead of helping him. Ahaz took valuable items from the Lord's temple and the royal palace and from the homes of his officials and gave them to the king of Assyria as tribute. But this did not help him. He paid the big dog off to try and get help from him, and he just got attacked by another enemy for his trouble. Does that make sense? He was being attacked on the west, the east, the south, the north. And he pays off this foreign country who's about to become a world empire, thinking like, maybe they can help me. They're huge. And that empire goes, oh, you have rich stuff? I'll take it. That's cool. There's more to the story, but that's what happens. It's not a good thing. Not good for Judah. Instead, they led to his ruin and the ruin of all Judah. The king took the various articles from the temple of God and broke them into pieces. He shut the doors of the Lord's temple so that no one could worship there. And he set up altars to pagan gods in every corner of Jerusalem. He made pagan shrines in all the towns of Judah for offering sacrifices to other gods. And in this way, he aroused the anger of the Lord, the God of his ancestors. And the rest of the events of Ahaz's reign and everything he did from the beginning to the end are recorded in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And when Ahaz died, he was buried in Jerusalem, but not in the royal cemetery of the kings of Judah. And then his son Hezekiah became the next king. All right, so long story short, Ahaz messes up. He does not recover well. He's surrounded. He asks for help, not from God, but from a foreign nation. The end of the story, I think, is missing a key detail here, and that is that he was told by God, I'm not done with you. I'm not done with Judah. You've messed up, though, so you're going to get the punishment, but I can't let you die. I can't let you get wiped off the board because I have a mission for you. So you're not going to get wiped off the board. But you're not going to escape punishment either. So in chapter 8 of Isaiah, he adds the prophecy. And he says, short term, this kid I named Emmanuel back in chapter 7, God is with us. Yeah, we're going to add a little twist to that, and it's going to be my son. And so Isaiah's traveling with his wife, and so when he gives that prophecy of the maiden, the virgin, the short-term fulfillment is basically the gal standing next to him. It's his wife. She's the maiden in the short term. Eventually it's Mary. Eventually it's Jesus, and they fulfill even more pieces of the prophecy. But the short term is going to be his own kid. So chapter 8 says, Then I slept with my wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. And the Lord said, Call him, and not Emmanuel, check out the name here, Meher Shalal Hashbaz.
Wow.
That's a good name. It's a good name. If you ever run out of names for your kids one day, you can always go back to Isaiah and find that one. For before this child is old enough to say Papa or Mama, the king of Assyria will carry away both the abundance of Damascus and the riches of Samaria. Those are the capitals of the northern countries, Israel and Aram. Then the Lord spoke to me again and said, My care for the people of Judah is like the gentle flowing waters of Shiloah, but they have rejected it. They are rejoicing over what will happen to King Rezin and King Pekah. Those are the kings of Israel and Aram. Therefore the king will overwhelm them with a mighty flood from the Euphrates River. That river is located in Assyria. The king of Assyria and all his glory. This flood will overflow all its channels and sweep into Judah, that's the southern nation we've been following this whole time, until it is chin deep. It will spread its wings, submerging your land from one end to the other. Oh, Emmanuel. And he calls back to chapter 7 again. So the Emmanuel means God is with you. And like I said, that's neutral. You come in with a black eye and say, Jim was with me. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't give you any details. But the longer name, it basically means smash and grab. It means plunder quickly. It means get in, get the good stuff, and get out. So the original name in the original prophecy is God is with you. But then the secondary name, the more precise name for this short-term fulfillment is quick, rapid punishment. So God is with you. That sounds good, but it's actually neutral. It doesn't mean anything unless you know why he's with you and what he's going to do when he's with you. So if you apply God is with you to Jesus, suddenly that's awesome. Because he's the gentle creek in Shiloah. That half of the prophecy. That's Jesus. But the other half of the prophecy, the short-term half of the prophecy, it ain't gentle. There's a little creek in Jerusalem. It's like the tiniest thing in the world. It's actually said that no one could hear it. It was so small. You could be next to it and you wouldn't know where it was. Such a gentle, tiny little creek. It's a little hill, Jerusalem. It's not a giant mountain. And so God says, that's what I wanted for you. I wanted you to have a closeness with me where I'm just there with you, just enough to keep you hydrated. I'm everything you need and no more. And he says, that's not what you're getting because you guys refuse to turn from your sin. Ahaz doesn't like where things are going. Instead of turning to God, he turns harder core, destroys everything in the temple, locks the doors, and goes and builds a shrine to some fake god. What kind of fake god? Oh, well, they told us that. The kind like Baal, the kind like Molech. Molech was the kind where you took a metal statue, heated it up with a fire, and then you stuck your child on the altar.
Oh.
So yeah, burnt ones.
It was not a good deal. Okay, this is not like God light or like a slightly twisted version of Christianity or something like that. No, this is like complete 180 backwards evilness. So Ahaz goes to that instead of to God. And so God says, yeah, sorry, you're not going to get the trickle. You're not going to get the gentle river here. Sorry, guys, you're getting the Euphrates, which is a massive river. And so he says it's going to drown you up to your chin, which is not a drowning.
But what if the town was midgets?
It's not. And the chin moves with the height of the person. Think about it. Okay, so what they're going to get is a river that comes in and wipes Israel and Aram off the board, and it does. They're gone. Those nations don't exist after this. But it only drowns Judah up to here. So like the barely there, I can just about make it, and that's what happens. And as a consequence, this is the weirdest consequence, there are so few humans left alive in Judah that because they didn't burn all the farms, now everyone has more than they need. It's the Thanos style of justice. there's enough resources now because half the people are gone. That's literally what Assyria does. And so the prophecy that before the child gets to be able to speak, he'll be eating honey and yogurt, which are rich foods in their culture. That's what you had if you were doing well.
Really?
Yeah, so like you get honey and yogurt, isn't that great? How do you get it? Kill everyone else.
I like
Oh,
I'll fight later.
that's not so great. So that's their punishment. So wrap this up. Why didn't they get the nice fulfillment of this prophecy? Why didn't they get it? Morning, Danny. Rise and shine.
Oh my god.
That is the last time you get a comfy chair.
So comfortable.
No, he
That's actually my sleeping chair when I come to Nerf nights and actually want to take a nap. Keeps me from being like
see
totally
why.
asleep. So why didn't they get the nice fulfillment of the prophecy? Because when they were in a hard time, they called on the world for help. Instead of going to God for help, they called on the world. Ahaz was he was their worst king ever. But we've seen what happens when the other kings actually follow God. God boosts them. He makes them win against crazy odds. They can't lose. So, here's the moral for us today. Jesus is right there, and so often we don't call on him, we call on the world. We look for worldly solutions to our problems. We try to get the world to help us. We try to ask the world for advice. We look up YouTubers. We look up influencers and see what they say about our problems. Yeah, why? But instead we just go to Jesus, and then we get the gentle creek. We get this nice little trickle of exactly what we need, no more. Just what we needed. I love that. That's where we're supposed to be, right there next to the creek where we can always get another drink whenever we need it. Not wading out into the Euphrates, not jumping into some giant body of water we can't handle. Just what we need. So, this is the promise that one day Jesus would come, and now we live past that promise, and so we don't have to wonder, we don't have to guess, we don't have to try 18 gods to see which one's real. We can just go to Jesus instead. And the other half of this is that the prophecy was actually given hundreds of years before Jesus, and that it comes true in him. And yet the people of Israel were still looking for a mighty king with an army because they didn't get it. They didn't match up with what Jesus was doing. And so I would suggest that we need to know exactly who Jesus is, but there's also going to be a second coming of Jesus. We alluded to it earlier, that when he comes back the second time, that's when he comes with the army. That's when he comes with power. That's when he comes in authority to rule and to reign. And so when we tell people about Jesus, we don't have to tell them about a weak little lamb. We don't have to tell them about someone who's humble and just, took punishment he didn't deserve. We can tell them both halves. This is the mighty king of all the universe that laid down his life for us. This is the mighty king who created you and is coming back to take the world for himself, who took your punishment and died in your place. There's two halves to that, and I think they're just as important as each other. Because if he was only a sacrifice, he was only humble, he was only weak, then does he really have the power to save you? Does he really have the power to take out Satan? Does he really have the power to remake the world and make it perfect? No, not really. He has to be both, or else he's not really God. And so that's why the prophecy has the two sides to it. He will come humble and weak. He will come as the trickle, but he also comes as the raging river. Two different events, two different times, same God. One so he could save you, one so he could change the world. All right, let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your word. We thank you for the chance to look into it and to see you there, even in these passages that are thousands of years old. We ask, Lord, that you would change our heart this week, seeing the consequences that come from turning from you or doubling down on that turn. Lord, help us to not only fear the consequence, Lord, but love you. To not just run from the bad stuff, Lord, but to run to you. And help us, Lord, to look at the people in our life and see which ones are in that circle where we can influence them. We know the world keeps getting worse, and it's going to be that way until you come back, but we can have an influence right where we are. We can bring light and truth and love into the places where we walk. So, Lord, give us the courage, give us the strength. Help us to see the people that are walking far from you right now and to just be courageous enough to confront them with what you have for them. Give us wisdom in those moments so we know what to say, Lord. And with our heads bowed and our eyes closed, if there's anyone here today that needs to start up that relationship with God, where you're his child and you have his forgiveness, the Bible says that Jesus died in your place, and if you put your faith into him, you can have that. That he'll give you eternal life. You will get to know God the Father, the creator of the universe. You get to be adopted into his family. You get to live in heaven with him forever. And it starts with your faith in him. You trust in him, who he is and what he's done. And you can have all of that. So if there's anyone here today that needs that right now, you want to take hold of that, I would just ask you to raise your hand, and I'll see that. I'll pray with you. You get to talk to him, though. I'll just help you with the words. You get to ask him for that forgiveness. You get to tell him you're putting your faith in him. Anyone who needs to take that moment right now, just put up your hand. No one's looking around. I'll pray with you, and you can start up that relationship with him. And he's going to stay with you the rest of your life. He'll walk with you day by day, guiding you the whole way. Anyone this morning? I love you, Jesus. I thank you for these middle schoolers. Bless them this week. Help them to live for you. We pray that in your name, Jesus. Amen. Amen. I love you guys. Don't forget our announcements from the beginning of service.
Oh, what am I again?
This Friday is topic night. After topic night, there's an all-nighter for the 8th graders with the high schoolers. I'll be there through the night, so you're not all lonesome and stuff. And then Sunday next is the car wash for 8th graders to jump in with the high schoolers too. And then the last topic night, which is the last Friday in May, will be our graduation party. Okay. We good? We got all that in our heads? Those are whiteboard markers. Oh, sorry. Because they're from Japan. Because Japan loves stationery more than America does, they have a better selection of their stuff than we do.
No, go back in there. Bro!
Did I win?
His phone. Yeah, you did. Danny's mad.
Girl!
Oh, she's nice.
Yeah, isn't that good? It's one of those Costco specials. The button stitch is all ripped out like instantly
there's a
after I bought
dye-haired
it.
Jack.
It's so comfy.
Okay, we gotta get him.
We need to meet the kids.
Yeah, but Alan's the one who put in my chairs. He's a
Yeah, that's why I said I need your girl's help.
Why is there
I forgot I changed my dad's contact name on my phone to parole officer.